So let's talk about Smile 2. It seems to be a movie that everybody's enjoying. The first movie came out, it made a lot of money, people really enjoyed Smile 1, and it looks like people are having a great time with Smile 2. It looks like the critics have a lot to say about this movie. So the breakdown for this video, guys, we're going to jump over here to Comic Book Movie, have a quick read of this article, then we'll go over to Rotten Tomatoes, check out the tomato score, see where this movie is currently sitting, at what percentage, then we'll go over also and check out what the critics had to say regarding this movie. So let's jump straight in, let's break it down, and let's see what's going on with this Smile 2 movie. So like I said, this comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Smile 2 Rotten Tomatoes score revealed as first wave of reviews and final trailer are scared up. So, Smile arrived in theaters in 2002 and earned $217 million worldwide on a $17 million budget. I've said this ad nauseum at this point on the channel, but indie horror films are the way to go if you're just starting out in Hollywood. I mean, you look at the Terrifier franchise, they just made Terrifier 2 on a $2 million budget, and it made nearly $20 million in its opening weekend. And this just goes to further, show the example here. A $17 million budget, and it made $217 million worldwide. The return on investment for horror movies is just insane. So that's a massive profit for a horror movie, and Paramount wasted no time in developing a sequel, Smile 2, which is set to be released this Friday. Absolutely, if you can make a $17 million movie into $217 million, of course you're going to greenlight a sequel as soon as possible. So based on the first wave of reviews, this follow-up is just as good, perhaps not better than its predecessor. However, as we first reported on fearhq.com, new lead Naomi Scott from Power Rangers is receiving a lot of praise for her performance, and it sounds like there are plenty of scares for horror fans to get excited about. So the rest of the article here, guys, it just goes into reviews, which we're going to read over on Rotten Tomatoes. So with that down, that news story there, a $17 million budget, $217 million profit for the first movie, and Naomi Scott obviously getting praised for her performance in Smile 2. By the way, I saw Smile 2 last night. She did a great job in this movie. It's very much a copy and paste in a lot of respects of Smile 2 to Smile 2 is a copy and paste, I should say, sorry. A copy and paste from the first movie. A lot of the story beats are very similar. A person gets a demonic presence attached to them. They slowly unwind psychologically throughout the movie. Things get crazier. They start seeing visions. They commit crimes which they didn't realize they were doing. And ultimately, the end of the Smile 2 is very similar to what happens in Smile 1. I'm not going to give it away or any spoilers. I did have a fun time with it, but in a lot of ways, it does feel like a copy and paste of the first movie. They do try some small new kind of horror tactics in the second movie, things that weren't in the first movie, but again, a lot of it does feel kind of retreading what we saw in the first movie. But that's not to say that it's still not a good movie. I had a good time with it. I did enjoy it, and I do recommend watching it if you haven't seen it, guys. So anyway, with that down, let's go over to Rotten Tomatoes here. So, Smile 2 is currently sitting at 79% of 58 reviews. Sorry, 58 reviews. So, the synopsis here, about to embark on a new world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley, played by Naomi Scott, begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and the pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. Yeah, she's a famous pop star, and she's about to start a brand new worldwide singing tour. And obviously this kind of demonic presence attaches to her. She starts losing her mind, and she risks losing all of her fame, all of her fortune, everything she's built up throughout her life. So that's a unique perspective in Smile 2 that we didn't see in the first Smile movie. So they approach it from a different angle, but then again, a lot of the story beats are very much repeated, but the whole singer fame aspect does inject new life into the movie. So I will give it that. But let's go over, let's read some of these reviews. We're going to read the top critic reviews and see what they had to say. So, from The Observer, for fans of the first film, it's more of the same, and for any casual horror viewers who are up for the Funhouse thriller this October, it will do the trick. From Slant Magazine, Parker Finn, like his identity, is interested in getting his bony fingers into those sticky tender parts we'd rather hide away, slurping our pain like ambrosia and confronting us with the fact that more often than not, the enemy is staring back at you. From Little White Lies, it's all exceptionally silly, and fans of the first film might find the first hour a little more than a rehash of Smile. That's what I was saying, guys. A lot of the story beats are very much repeated in Smile 2, but there's still something admirable about Parker Finn's gusto. Yeah, there's enough new stuff and enough fun to be had with Smile 2 to still recommend watching it, even though a lot of it is repeated. So, from Substack, Christomania, the first splat here. What started out as an inventive little horror feature transforms into a boring, generic drama with a runtime so bloated you'll start to wonder if anyone just forgot what kind of film they were making. So this person really didn't like it. They say it's bloated, that it's boring, that it's generic. I do understand where they're coming from to some degree, but I think the fun parts, the horror parts do overtake that kind of generic drama aspect of the movie. So from Bloody Disgusting, it's not just the sequel's razor sharp and inventive, gory scares that surpass its predecessor, but a profoundly complicated heroine shaping the edgier style of horror. From Screen International, Smile 2 has its audacious moments, but as Finn's script unveils implausible plot twists, the sequel elicits neither terror nor smiles, but rather shrugs. That's another splat as well. From IGN Movies, from the writer-director of 2022's horror sleeper Smile, comes a solid sequel that sticks the suicide hex Phantom on a pop star played in a highly volatile, committed performance by Aladdin's Naomi Scott. Variety, the movie is hardly subtle, yet Parker Finn has become a clever enough filmmaker to make reality feel like a hallucination, and hallucinations feel like reality. The Wrap, Smile 2, is more of the same, a lot more, but it's just as scary, and this time it's festier and funnier, proving that the premise has legs and also some malleability. So yeah, you can change it up a little bit. I think going into the third movie, they're going to have to really change up the kind of the formula of what they've done. They can't just repeat the last two movies. They have to really change up the formula, change up the way that they kind of approach this movie. But I think, you know, they can make a Smile 3, but like I say, they need to change it up again, keep injecting fresh content in there to keep the fans coming back. So, from IndieWire, more than anything, this sequel is proof that the endless versatility could turn Smile movies into an October box office fixture for decades to come. Still, from Hollywood Reporter, still, there's much to be said for the director, so over-encumbered by timidity, and sequel will leave plenty of horror fans grinning from ear to ear. And finally, from the Daily Beast, Finn's second feature may not be as consistent of a rollercoaster ride as his maiden effort, but it gets the job done frequently enough to be a chart topper. Yeah, so people are kind of, you know, repeating what I was saying about, you know, there's parts that it kind of rehashes from the first movie. A lot of it is a copy and paste, but just because that's the fact of copy and paste of the first movie in a lot of aspects, it doesn't mean that it's not still a fun movie, and I recommend watching it, guys. So get out and see it whenever you can, and that's kind of where we are. So we're sitting at a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes from 58 reviews, 79%, almost 80% for this kind of Smile franchise. I think that's fantastic. It looks like it's going to do well at the box office again. I'm not sure what the production budget for this second movie is. I'm sure it's going to be more than the first, but if it comes back and it can make, you know, $200 million, potentially $300 for the sequel, if people go out and watch it, then I think it's doing great. And I think there's going to be more of these movies in the future, because a lot of people seem to enjoy Smile. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, like I say. And yeah, I recommend going out to watch it. But guys, after seeing these reviews and this Rotten Tomatoes score of 79%, what do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, and opinions. Jump down and let me know. Are you going to watch this movie this weekend when it comes out? Are you excited to see it? Or do you think it's just a generic, bland, kind of throwaway psychological horror that we've kind of all seen before? Whatever your thoughts are, like I say, pop down in the comment section, guys. Can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.